my beautiful dark ones. Welcome to my channel. So today I want to play a game with you. I have something below this card, and I want you to guess what's under the card. This is a tarot card, and I'm hiding something. So it is inside of a silver ball, and silver is the best conductor, so probably it's the best metal to have when you are developing your psychic abilities and practicing psychic tests. So inside this silver ball there is something, and I will be talking for a while, answering your questions. And while I'll do that, I want you to concentrate and try to imagine what is this. First of all, what kind of element is that? Is it air, fire, water, earth? Not maybe completely the element, but what is it associated with? Like, for example, if it's something solid, it's earth. If it's something that can be on fire, it's air, and so on and so forth. And also color. I want you to guess the color, because this probably the easiest way to guess the color. And I know this is very difficult. I know a lot of you guys, when I do short psychic tests, you always say that you guessed it right. You have no idea how I am proud of you, because for me it's very difficult. I'm very good with photos, because photos, they kind of magically, like mirrors, carry so much information. But when it comes to normal objects, I feel that it's the most difficult thing to learn, the ability to see physical object. So let's play this game. Let's train together. Also, I have a request. I know a lot of you want to be a reader, or you guys want to develop your psychic abilities even more. And another thing that I want to have is to play a game in the comments. I want you to try to read a person in your comment section below. And for people who want to be read, just write a comment, please read me. And you can write anything you want, like you can write like I live there, or maybe I'm this years old, or my favorite crystal is that, or my favorite book is this, anything you want, like literally 2 sentences. And then people who want to trade their psychic abilities, you go read those sentences and try to write a comment about the person who wrote something. Tell the person what you feel about them, what you can pick up about them. And then maybe have a conversation, like see if you guessed something correctly or not, if you actually have a connection with someone online. Because I know a lot of you want to start an online business doing readings for others. So this is a good thing to train online without seeing a person, just like getting some energy from the words. Because also words are like magic, right? Words are like spells. Whatever we say, it gives like interesting resonance and like energy into the world, and we can pick up a lot from them. Even from when you receive an email, you already know what kind of person writes in this email, right? So words give out a lot. So write something. Maybe, you know what, maybe you write in a comment section. If you want to be read, just write your favorite tarot card. Just, hello, my name is this, and my favorite tarot card is this. So please read me. And if you guys see that, read them and tell them what you can get, what you can sense. And I will go through the comment and see, and maybe like write something as well if I pick up something from the person. Okay, so also try to feel what's going on under the tarot card. And maybe for those of you who are really good with psychic tests, even try to pick up any energy from the tarot card and tell me what tarot card is here. I know I posted a community post and I was asking you about questions that you have for me, and I received like so many amazing questions. One of the questions was, it was connected with my travels. Someone asked what kind of supernatural experiences I had during my travels, magical places, and what I learned during my travels. So, in the beginning, I was traveling like a tourist. So I would go to see all these touristy attractions, and that would be the main thing for me to see and concentrate on. But the more I started to travel, the more countries I've seen, the more I realized that going to quieter, less touristy places is the key to actually learn something. Also, I learned that the longer I stay in a country, the more I get to know about its land, its traditions, its magic. And for me now, if I need to go somewhere for just 1 month, I probably go with already researched places that I want to visit, magical places, and the places of high vibrations in that country. Like, for example, um, if you would go to Uzbekistan one day in the future, this is the land of Zoroastrianism. So Zoroaster was there, he was born in the neighboring country, but the practices are still kind of alive there. And people, locals, they still talk about this. You can see the remnants of this culture everywhere you go, and also you can see the towers of silence. Those towers were used during the Zoroaster times to bury the dead because their religions were talking about the body not being pure, so it was not supposed to touch the earth, right? So they would put dead bodies on top of the towers, on the altars where they were exposed to the natural elements, and they would just dry under the sun, and the birds would eat out the flesh. And then when only the bones were left, they would collect the bones, put them inside the vases, and then only they would bury them. So go to a place where these towers still stand still. Not much tourists go there, and you can go on top of this tower of death, tower of silence, and just to feel the energy and imagine and see how it was back then. It's just something just exceptional, right? The food is amazing too, but visiting, for example, these magical places, for me, it's more important than to just experience the food and modern culture. Even though I always, every time I go to different country or different city, I always go to their archaeological museum, even though I do not really agree with the science of archaeology like 100%, but the things that we can learn from just going to archaeological museums and to see how every country, every continent are kind of the same when it comes to ancient times. They have the same pottery, the same art, right? They talk about the same gods, deities, the same religions. It's just like uncanny, right? There is no way you can learn something like that from history books because it's kind of boring. But when you stand in the front of a crazy, amazing, ancient piece of, I don't know, of an altar object, because so many altars are uncovered on Earth and actually in the museums, and the energy that you can see, the story behind it, this is something that you learn in a way that you never forget and it stays with you. When it comes to supernatural experience, I would say every city has something, and the longer you live, the more you get to know. And probably it's hard to tell what's more magical and what's less magical because for different people it all resonates differently. Like, for example, for me, Asia is very I would say uncomfortable magic, because the way the earth, the ground feels, the way the spirits are, and how many of them. There is the reason why Bali, for example, called the island of gods, because you literally feel that you're always walking with the most unusual Balinesian deities. And if you go into Bali magic and you see their gods, they are so just so unusual that if you never experienced this before, if you're not from them, they kind of even feel disturbing, because psychics and empath, they can feel it like with such a force that it's just unbelievable. It's also a good way to actually I would say explore your inner magical abilities, because when you start feeling all of these things and seeing them in a normal setting, like the first time when I was driving from the airport in Bali, right away I saw this creature in a taxi and I was so scared. And then the next day I was talking to a local boy and he said, oh, we have these creatures in a car that they get into the car because they want to cause like accident, right? And they look like this and like that and like that. And when he was describing it, I knew that that was the creature I saw, And it's so interesting that for these people who live in Asia, these kind of spirits and demons are very normal. And for example, for me, who comes from totally different backgrounds, it's just so unusual. But again, the more you stay in Asia, the more I travel and see different countries in Asia, the more familiar they become and the more calm you become with them. And when you go to Europe, it's completely different energy. For example, I do resonate more with European countries. Their gods, their magic, their ancient practices are more, I would say, like normal, comforting to me. And I really loved Turkey. This is the country that probably is not talked enough about because the amount of magic they have and magical places and ancient ruins that you can go visit. Their museums are just insane. They have still castles that are intact. You can go to a castle where Dracula was held as a hostage. It's on the Mediterranean Sea and it's such a beautiful castle, and no one talks about it, right? Göbekli Tepe is there, one of the ancient ruins of the world, and they have even Mount Agri. It's Mount Ararat, where the Noah's Ark supposedly was landed during the biblical times, right? So it's just like the country where every turn you take, you literally find magic because they have ruins of ancient tombs. Just on the streets, on highways, you can pass a tomb of ancient king, and just there. It's open for free. You can go touch it, like take photo with it, sit, meditate, feel the energy. And there is so many things about ancient gods that I learned because Turkey was part of ancient Greece. And during the Ottoman Empire, it's just like they had such an interesting mix of cultures. So that country really fascinated me. Also, at some point of my travels, I was going from the ancient wonder of the world to another. And many of them, I think 3 of them are in Turkey. And then one in Rhodes, which is 2 hours away ferry from Turkey, from Fethiye. So, every country has something. For example, Georgia, the country. I came here without any expectations and then find out that Medea was from here. Jason the Argonaut came here. So the gold fleece, the whole myth, it's all happened here. And I had no idea. It's just because I was walking on a plaza and I saw this beautiful statue of Medea and I asked like, why she's there, And then I started digging for the information. Magic here is very connected to ancient Greek magic as well. And they have local practices that are very unusual. They have so many famous psychics and witches from here. And again, I wouldn't expect or know about this if I wouldn't come here. And then, for example, you go to Kazakhstan. It's a country that you probably don't even know, but it might be where the shamanism was originated from, or at least took its roots. And shamans, their steps are just unbelievable. It's like you walk the land and you just feel so much energy coming from everywhere. Probably the most interesting thing that I learned from traveling, like for example, I learned candle wax reading and coffee grinds reading in Turkey and Greece. I learned, probably I became psychic fully in Asia. I connected to my shamanic rituals and practices in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and South American, Caribbean, it's dark magic, voodoo. America and Canada, probably those are 2 countries that will teach you the modern witchcraft because their energy is different. They're not as ancient. And, it's really toward modern practices. But they taught me how to mix it up everything that I know and not to be scared of practicing something that other would consider closed practice. I do not believe in that. I feel like if you're born witch and you had many reincarnations as a witch or a shaman or a practitioner or a healer, you can create your own practice. You're not supposed to stay in your bloodline's practice only because you're scared to approach closed practice. Nothing is closed really. if you're practicing something that only your bloodline was practicing, it's fine. Like, for example, gypsies that don't really incorporate anything new into the practices, which is also something amazing when you go to Romania and you see the real witches on the streets. It's totally different experience that what you think gypsies are. So yes, probably this is what I learned the most. We always have misconceptions of people, countries, practices, magic, and those misconceptions, they die the moment you go and actually visit and talk to these people, and I learned that people are amazing. There are always bad people. They exist everywhere, but in the majority, people are amazing, especially people who are magic. They are just inspirational, beautiful, really magical. Magic everywhere is maybe a little bit different, but in the end, it's all the same. And I learned not to be scared of mixing anything, because the more I travel, the more I learn magic, the more I realize that we just should always explore. And in every country, I create different rituals for my clients, for myself, because I like to learn by recreating what I've seen and adding my own spice to it. And I guess this is beautiful. The more we travel, the more we realize how everything is different. You cannot control anything. But if you trust the universe that everything is going to be okay, everything is going to be amazing and better than you think. It's like if you choose to live your life the way you dream it, you will enter the dream. That's for sure. Some of you guys ask me if I believe in love. So I have to tell you that I do not believe in love, because in order to believe in something, it requires from you to not know that it exists, right? So people believe in God because they don't know if he exists, so they have to believe because they don't have proof. I don't have to believe in love. I know it exists, I've experienced it, and it's not that I believe, I just know it's there. Maybe in a way that you ask the question, yes, of course I do believe in love, and not only in romantic love, but in love that we experience to humans, to other people, to entities, to nature, the way we love life. I know maybe some people, they always say that they hate life, they don't want to reincarnate again, but you have to concentrate sometimes on the positive, on how beautiful the life is. And life is really what we make of it, and maybe if you hate your life, maybe try to see why. And I do like this quote from The Alchemist, the Paulo Coelho book, and he said that, I don't remember the quote exactly the way it was, but it was something like, you always have the ability to follow your dream. You always have the means to follow your dream. And this is so true. We just don't realize it sometimes. We always say that I'll do this next year, or I will go there in 5 years, or I will talk to this person when I have this, or when I'm skinnier, or when I'm more successful, and I will reach out to do collab with the person when I have this much subscribers on YouTube, or I will buy this outfit when I have better job or something. We always have an excuse. We always say when I will do this and when this happens. But learning to live life in this very moment, it's so important. Maybe this is what I learned from travels as well. Also, maybe it's not magical, but I learned that leaving behind the things that are not important, and I'm talking about material things. When I travel now, I have 2 suitcases. One is somewhat big and one is small. So my small one is with my cameras and with my gear, and the larger one, half of it is with my altar pieces and my tarot decks and like my bones and my runes and all of these things. And only half of suitcase that I have for me, for my clothes and all my products that I need, right? So knowing that you can live for 5 years with the space of half a suitcase, that really humbles you down, because of course, as a girl, I always was into things. I really liked shopping and nice pretty things, and now that sometimes for me I cannot even buy a cup that I like because I know that maybe in 2 months I'm leaving, or in 2 weeks, or in 2 days, and I don't have space for it, or I cannot buy something that I really want because I don't have space for it. And this mindset that I don't have space for something, it means like I don't really need it. So traveling really teach me that there are things that you might not need. Also, when it comes to my magic, it also helped me learning how to do like local magic, how to be inspired by local places, using local ingredients, local things, because if you sit in an uncomfortable home and you can buy anything online, like I haven't been buying online anything for 5 years, and even before, like I wasn't type of person who would buy anything online. So for me, my resources are really limited to what's around me, right? So when you have this home as a witch and you have everything at your disposal, you can buy pretty things for your altar, and any herb you want, any ingredient, anything that you want. Sometimes you feel that you're stagnant, you lack creativity. And then when you come to a country that is literally like, for example, I think in Uzbekistan, there is no witchy shops because it's a Muslim country, they're very religious. So finding ingredients for the spell, it's so unusual, it's so difficult, but it's also so rewarding because you can use something that you can pick up yourself from a desert, like a desert sand, bones from a desert, all the things that like nature gives you. So it kind of pulls you back to nature, to being able to work with the elements in the most purest magical form, right? So this is something that I learned from traveling, that sometimes you don't need anything fancy, anything expensive. You just need to be in this mindset that I will create magic, that I will do something exceptional, and I will do the spell for my favorite client because she deserves it, and I will do anything I need to, or I have to, in this situation to make it work. And I've been doing my spell work and readings for 5 years, and probably this is the first time, like in the past few months, I've been talking about traveling. People always assumed that I lived somewhere and had normal home and normal altar. And I think I learned this on the go, that we can create anything, anywhere, at any moment, as long as we want it and we have passion for it. Okay, so now I want to open this card and to show you what's inside. I hope you've been thinking about what's inside and trying to get the feeling. First of all, if you've been thinking about what card is, here, this is the Chariot card, number 7. So tell me if you picked up anything like that, like the Chariot, the 7, the black and red, anything. Also, as you can see in the bowl, it's actually milk. So if it's the element, it's water, the color white, so it's liquid. That's what's there, milk. Tell me if you guessed it right, if you actually guessed milk or white or liquid, anything. I really, really want to know. Leave me a comment and tell me if you guessed it right or not. This is more common psychic test. I have something in my palm and I want you to get what's inside. It's a crystal. So what type of crystal, color, maybe shape? Is it large, is it small? Anything that comes to you, let me know. And while you're thinking about this crystal, I will be talking about sigils. Some of you guys asked me what's my favorite sigil and why and what's the meaning behind it. So I don't know if you noticed, but I do love crosses. And if you say that cross is very religious and it's connected to Christianity or Catholicism, I do disagree. Crosses been used in ancient times prior to any religions. Even during pagan times, crosses were the indicators of sun and of higher gods. As, for example, sacred geometry, a lot of you guys don't even know the origin, why it's been used in ancient times. And sometimes I know that some people struggling with sacred geometry because they don't understand the meaning or they don't feel that they connected with sacred geometry. In ancient Mesopotamia, they had this, I would say more like pagan religion, right? Because they had like different gods. You can Google it and read about it. It's a very interesting religion. And in ancient Mesopotamia, it was prohibited to say aloud the names of the god. And in order to talk about gods and deities, they were using symbols, sacred geometrical symbols, like geometrical symbols. And that's why we have sacred geometry. It was the geometry used to name the ancient gods. So each god has their own sacred geometrical symbol. So if you go for any images of geometry in ancient Mesopotamia, you will see a lot of sacred geometry. Each shape represents a different deity. And that's why some of you guys do not connect with them, because sometimes the meanings behind some shapes are still very active in the magical world, and you probably just don't associate with the god or deity and what they represent and what they stand for. So that's why you don't feel connected to geometry. So cross was a name of one of the higher gods. And I don't know, for me, any type of crosses, even if they are look like crosses from a church, I still don't really associate them with religion or church. It's just different crosses. I feel they represent to me intersection, because in order to form a cross, it doesn't matter how it's gonna look like, if the 2 lines or 4 lines, 6 lines, right? If one line is shorter, another one is longer, it still look like intersection, like 2 roads cross at some point, right? Even the intersection, it's roads crossing. So when I come into a new city, into a new country, I always try to feel the energy of the land. This is actually, I learned it from my travels as well. So the moment I disembark the plane, first 3 minutes, if I'm allowed, because sometimes you have to jump into the bus, or I'm the last one to leave, but I always try to keep 3 minutes when I just stand, close my eyes, and I feel the energy. The first 3 minutes when you visit a different place gives you so much information about the land itself. For example, when I left, when I was in taxi driving away from Istanbul airport, I closed my eyes and I felt like the whole city had a heartbeat. It's like it's the heart of the world is Istanbul. And I don't know why, but it just was the feeling. In Kazakhstan, when I came there, I arrived at night, maybe 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I was driving at the airport and it was so foggy. And the first thing that I felt is like love. The land loves you and cares for you. Care maybe more than love. And it was so foggy. It's like you were driving inside of a fairy tale. And it's so unusual, but that's what I felt. Canada and the US, they kind of feel the same. When you go to a country like Cuba, Dominican, they feel like dancing, you know? And the beat to the land, it's like the land dances. It's always celebrates, it's happy. And when you go to Europe, every city is so different. So I really kind of love to gather my energy and get the energy from the city. So I find the most high energetic intersection in every city, and I stand on this crossroad and I just twirl or I do something. It's like my own routine. I touch the ground, I touch the road or whatever, wherever I'm standing, and I talk to the land to give me the strength and power to connect. I give thanks to the land. I might leave a coin behind or a crystal or something, but I learn to appreciate the land and always to be grateful and thankful for having this ability to touch a foreign land, not only with your heart, but with your arm. And this is something amazing. And for me, this moment, this ritual of touching the ground, of every intersection, of every city that I've been to, that's for me what represents the cross. Every time I draw a cross on me or somewhere else, it's like I'm touching some ancient sacred ground. I'm entering this beautiful state of mind where I'm home, where I'm arriving to a beautiful place and magic awaits me. So any crosses for me, if it's an Egyptian Ankh, if it's the Leviathan cross, all crosses means for me the same, entering the magic. And I guess now I'm curious to know what's your favorite sigil and the meaning behind you, and when or how you find your sigil. So if you have time, please share with me in the comment section, because now I'm so curious. You have no idea. Some of you ask me about my favorite, most cherished books. I would say they're always changing. I'm a bookworm, I read a lot. I would say the book that kind of helped me to change my life was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I might not resonate with it a lot now, but some things, they made me think and they made me move. The first magical book that made me think, like, and really made me think for hours and days, was the High Dogma and Rituals of High Magic, something like that, Eliphas Levi. If you're curious, just write a comment and I Google the name for you. This was the book that made me look at magic from a completely different way and perspective, to actually start questioning everything I've been learning, because in the beginning I was just learning like a baby witch, like all of you. Any information, I would take it for granted and as a truth. And this book made me question everything, literally, in the most amazing, unique, profound way. So this is a book that I still remember and grateful for. Now I'm reading The Kybalion, the book written by the Three Initiates about the Hermetic laws. I know it. I came to this realization through my experience, I would say, but reading it kind of gives me, again, it makes me think and kind of go back to my way and relive some ideas. This is the book that I have in my suitcase for now. That's why I'm reading it. I can't say that those are my cherished books. It's just the books that come to my mind when I talk about this. I also have a Bible with me, and I have it for a couple of years because I use it for my magic. And also sometimes I do feel that because so many people pray on a Bible, their pages are kind of magical. So if you want to kind of empower your spell, you can use certain phrases from the Bible. And I know in Italy, witches, they do use Bible verses, especially King Solomon's songs, in their practices, especially in love magic, because if you think of it, King Solomon was the one who controlled the demons. So if you want to do something with demons, especially love and control and connection, this is something that you can definitely use, especially considering that a lot of you guys come from a very religious background. For you, the Bible verses are engraved in your subconscious. And no matter how much you're trying to get away from this is still in you. So you use it to your advantage. Same if you are from any other religion and you have this book that was religious and you've read as a child, use it in your spells now, because why not? And probably those are the books. I really liked learning about Quran, and honestly, religious books, Vedas, right? They're so interesting. They give you so much inspiration for your magic as well, if you approach them in the right way, right? And please don't hate me, people who are against what I'm saying, but this is my truth. And I know that it's still practiced. Like a lot of practitioners, they use religious books in their practice, and their magical spells are the most powerful ever. So this is a tip for you if you're not scared to use them. The last question that I want to talk about today, how to keep the nightmares away. I think sometimes, usually in my practice, 99% of time, nightmares are connected to poor diet, sleep routine, and they come to people who are stressed and tired. So if you want to keep the nightmares away, the physical ones that come from your physical body, right? Sleep at least, honestly, sleep different amount of time, because for some people, good night sleep is 6 hours, for some people 16. So whatever it is you need to have a deep, good night rest, go for it. Don't be stressed. Try to avoid stress. And if you're stressed, just don't go to sleep until you calm down. eat healthier when you have a lot of nightmares. Eating healthy things, it's literally beneficial for your body and for your mind and for your sleep as well. Drink before going to bed. Water, especially distilled water, is very good for you. Fresh juices, and just try to exercise and go for a walk. This is something that any like doctor, health practitioner will tell you, right? But if those nightmares are occurring and you see something unusual like spirits, demons, prophetic dreams, do not avoid your nightmares. Journal them, face them, and see why they come to you, at what dates. Maybe they come only during the full moon or the new moon, or maybe after you did a ritual. Maybe this is like the way you pay for a ritual you've done. Connect your nightmares to the things that happen in your life. Connect it to the magic that happens in your life. And for some of you, maybe it's just the way you becoming a psychic. Nightmares are the things that you see but do not acknowledge during your active state, and they come to your mind, because a lot of people who are born with abilities to practice dark magic, you guys hiding. So your demons have to come to you in your dream state, because otherwise they cannot reach you. So this can be it. I guess also another questions I had, what's my secret to facing my fears? I have the most crazy secret ever when it comes to facing fears. I just face them. I know that's not what you expected, but there is no way to deal with your fears. It's just like you have to face them, right? I had the most crazy fear growing up, and probably for 28 years of my life, I was scared of snakes, and I would always see them every time I go to nature, right? So one time I had an opportunity to actually go visit a person who had a snake in their house. So it took me like 5 hours to be able to enter the room where the snake was, and another hour to be able to let the snake actually come to me, right? So the person just gave me to hold their snake. It was like tiny, pretty one, but I was terrified. It was probably shocking and the most scary experience of my life. I still remember how it was, but the next day I was fine. I just came, and right away I went and I was like, hello, snake, can I pet you, And it was fine. I don't have the fear anymore. Before I couldn't even go to any place if the snake was inside. And after encounter a snake, I would not feel okay for 24 hours. Now I just don't care. Now I can go to a room full of snakes and it's okay, right? And probably if you have like some fears, like for example, if you're scared of going alone in the dark, especially if you're a woman, maybe it's not a fear, maybe it's something common, like common sense. You don't have to be alone at night because it's not safe. Be with someone at least, right? If it's like a fear that it's normal, that you're supposed to have, it's not like facing your fears, it's just like being mindful of the situation or where you are. When it comes to supernatural fears, probably what you're scared of is what you're good at. If you're scared of working with demons, it's probably that's the source of your power. If you're scared of doing tarot readings because you're from a religious background, because tarot is evil, it's probably because you're an amazing tarot reader. Maybe you're the one who invented tarot or was reading tarot like centuries ago. So usually the fears represent our strength. They are the opposite. They are the ones that those fears usually show us what we are good at. I feel like now I can say that my totem animal is snake, because I found very many common things. Like for example, I don't eat much. Like I can eat just once a month and just be on juice fast. Like last year I was for 7 months on a juice fast, no food, and then 5 months I was eating my diet, right? So snakes like that, they might eat like once a month and they still okay. They like to be under the sun. For me, I always look for the sun. If it's a sunny day, I feel energetic. If it's a gloomy day, I feel like I might sleep the whole day. And they don't like to be touched. I'm the same. If I don't know a person, I always keep my distance from them. But if I like a person, I can be like all over them. Like I can hug a person if I feel safe with them, if I like them. When I had my circles every Sunday, we had this, like we always would hug and kiss each other because I trusted them, like, right? So snakes are not the type of animals that is you more likely to pet. But if snake likes you, like they can feel the owners, they can even heal them, right? And I'm also cold-blooded. Like I love to live in hot countries. I always cold. So maybe the thing that you're scared of is the thing that makes you powerful or makes you who you are. You have to face your fears, especially when it comes in supernatural, in occult. If you're scared of doing something, you have to do it, and the fear will go away, and then you will understand why you were scared. Maybe you're the best tarot reader in the world, and you will become famous if you overcome your fear. Okay, now back to the game. So, crystal, what I'm holding in my palm, I will open it and let me know if you guessed it or not. So I have this one. It's a darker crystal. It's a quartz. You see it? It's a smoky quartz. If you felt it right away, if you feel drawn to it, it usually says that this is the quartz that symbolized grief, maybe depression, darker moods. Also in magic, it represents supernatural witch abilities, especially shamanic abilities. So if you felt it, maybe it's time for you to get one for your collection or for your altar. This is quartz that usually finds you when you need love, protection, when you need someone to hold, like when you need a hug. Literally, this is the quartz that says like, hey, you're not alone. Everything will be okay. Let me hug you. And even though it's a darker quartz, but it kind of pulls away your darkness, the negativity from you. So when you have it, and when you feel bad, carry it with you for a day, and then leave it on your windsill or under the moonlight overnight, and it cleans itself, like it removes all the negativity from you into the universe, into the moonlight. So let me know if you guessed it. Let me know if you like this psychic games. I can do more because it's fun. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your questions. Again, if you have any questions for me, leave them on my community post under my videos. I always read my comments. And just let me know if you like this type of videos. I will do more. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and good luck with everything on your magical journey.